It is a big idea, a new world order.
The time has come for the world to move in a new direction.
When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order.
The affirmative task we have now, create a new world order.
Washington was controlled by a sinister group of radical left Marxists, warmongers, and corrupt special interests who drained our wealth, attacked our liberties, obliterated our borders, and sucked our country dry, not any longer.
Is up, guys? Tyson Dela Cruz here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. Today is March 26, 2025. Shout out to everybody catching this on the live. If you're catching this on the live, come on in. Come on in. If you're catching this on the replay, type in replay in the comment section down below. Woo-wee! Today is hump day. Today's hump day, right? Yes, today's Wednesday. Shout out to everybody catching this on the live. What is up, my mind? What's up, Steph? Patrick Kennedy in the house. Terry in the house. Gina in the house. Gina in the house. Shout out. I want to give a huge shout out to the moderators in the chat. Shout out to the mods in the chat. Kudos. Thank you for catching this. The moderators. And then shout out to everybody catching this on the live. Oh boy. How was everybody's day today? My days have been packed. Hola, Little Santana in the house. Oh yeah, don't forget to smash that like button if you kindly would, whether you exit the video early or not. Just be sure to smash the like button. It is absolutely free. And then also, at the end of this video, after it's uploaded onto YouTube, I'll go ahead and place timestamps down below so you can jump back and forth through the different stories that we're going to cover today. And yeah, ideally, I want you to watch the whole thing. But hey, you know what? I know we got stuff to do. Let's go. FMS 129, listening from Palm Springs. I like Palm Springs. Palm Springs has some beautiful architectural designed homes. I'm a sucker for mid-century modern homes. I used to live in a mid-century modern home, and I believe something Wright, Alexander Wright or something like that, was a huge architect in Palm Springs, and he developed a lot of communities. I don't remember the name right now. It'll come to me, or somebody will pop it in the chat. So. But yeah, shout out to Palm Springs. Gina WY in the house. Yes, and the desert landscape. The desert landscape is absolutely gorgeous in Palm Springs. You know, speaking of gorgeous, the weather right here in Las Vegas is absolutely been amazing. Little bit of a breeze today. I don't even know what the temperature is. Let's check. It seems like it's hot as balls, but it is not quite there yet. I tell you what, in the summer, it is hot as somebody's nutsack. It's hot. 85 degrees today in Vegas. Woo-wee. All right. Enough about the banter. 33 degrees in CT. Holy smokes. Holy smokes. Snow is nice. Little Santana says, snow is nice. LJ in the house. Today I spent $1,000 at the vet, fed my German Shepherd a porterhouse steak. Bone. Big mistake. Then came home, found a 3-foot snake in my yard. Wow, you had a hefty day today. Yeah, Brady Bunch Holmes. Floyd, yes. Frank Lloyd Wright. Thank you. Frank Lloyd Wright. I said Alexander Wright. Sounds like a sailor, conquistador, explorer, Alexander Wright. Anyways, Frank Lloyd Wright is the architect. Man. Yeah, I don't give my dog bones. It's 91 in North Las Vegas by the lake. Yeah, it is hot. All right, let's jump into what we're going to talk about today. Today's episode actually might get banned because it might be demonetized by YouTube or in 3 different zip codes by the time the intro music hits and the YouTube video is fully uploaded. But hey, that comes with the territory. YouTube loves to censor, but all good. Let's start out with the Doge Committee hearing. Yes, because that is a real thing now. Rep. Marjorie Taylor Greene torched PBS CEO on live TV, accusing her of lying under oath and playing the receipts like it's a Murray episode. And just when you didn't think that it could get more unhinged, Jasmine Ghetto Crockett, Miss Collard Greens is back in the news. She went full TikTok meltdown and swore at Republicans mid-hearing. She's really living up to that ghetto act. Meanwhile, 23andMe, Google's favorite science fair project for oversharing. Let's just say the company's entire business model finally caught up to it with what we know as karma. Yes, your genetic privacy was treated with the same security protocol as a Craigslist ad. Then Donald Trump is making headlines again, like he does every single day. But today, this time he was he spoke for Women's History Month, where he said he wants to be known as the fertilization president. I'll just let that marinate there for a while. Over in the EV world, Tesla charging stations were firebombed. The firebomber is finally facing 20 years in prison after lighting up the charging station and himself with a Molotov cocktail while screaming out, "Long live Ukraine." Didn't even have to punch that story up or write a joke about that. That just made it up itself. And AOC was asked about the Tesla attacks, and her response made as much sense as Biden does when his teleprompter fails. In immigration, Trump's administration policies are working well. Kudos to the Trump administration. Migrants are now self-deporting. It's like Uber in reverse. ICE is on full alert. Americans are now being told to stand back or risk arrest if they interrupt an enforcement ops code. We're not playing games. FBI Director Kash Patel absolutely body slams a Democrat trying to launch this witch hunt with Signal. Alina Habba calling out the Atlantic journalist. Chris Hansen's back. You remember him, How to Catch a Predator. Now he's catching illegal immigrants instead. The man literally burned a woman alive. You guys remember that in the NYC? He was on camera today at his court hearing. America is now scrambling to get the real ID. I was just made a parent of that a couple days ago when I signed some docs, because apparently our government doesn't trust its own voters unless you show up with a retina scan, blood sample, semen sample, and a permission slip from your landlord. But hey, that's how it is now. So welcome to 2025, guys. Newsrooms continue to lie. Networks, leftist legacy media continues to lie, torching Teslas. And get this, pastors are actually some pastors are actually predators. Let's dive in. Before we jump in, because it is hump day, we got to play this. We got to play this because it's hump day.
Uh-oh. Guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Huh? Anybody? Julie, hey, guess what day it is?
Guess what day it
Oh,
is.
come on. I know you can hear me. Mike. What day is it, Mike? Leslie, guess what today is?
It's Trump Day.
Woo-hoo! Guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Guess what day it is?
All right. Shout out to everybody in the live chat. What's going on, chat? What's going on? What's going on? Connecticut has an overall debt of $88 billion, including $25 billion in direct debt and $46 billion in unfunded pension liabilities. Each taxpayer in Connecticut has state debt burden of $62K. That's what Terry says. I'm going to read some of these chats before we jump into Marjorie Taylor Greene. Shout out to Simply Serene. Washington State has a $78 billion debt in Senate Democrats, and they want to raise taxes. LOL. AOC's a dummy. Yep, she is. She is. Happy hump day, everybody. Happy hump day, chat. Serene says, you're my favorite person to get the news from. You rock. You are doing great and making videos interesting. Thank you. Shout out to you. Really appreciate you for that. I really do. You know, the news can be a little boring sometimes. There's a lot of things that happen in the news, but shout out to you for that compliment. I really appreciate you for that. Not necessarily boring, but it can be a little monotonous. Catherine Brandon in the house. Catherine Brandon, by the way. Shout out to Catherine Brandon. She wasn't here yesterday on the live. I don't know if Steph reached out to you, but you were actually the winner of the merch. We announced it Monday, excuse me. So Catherine, if you could just email me at info.tysondellacruz@gmail.com and we'll get that all set up for you, Catherine. What is up, Jason? All right, let's jump into Marjorie Taylor Greene. Marjorie Taylor Greene. These executives from PBS and NPR, which they are absolutely losing funding for because they continuously they were pushing this narrative, this bull crap narrative. Let's jump in.
Closing remarks. The United States is $36 trillion in debt. In fiscal year 2024, the government spent over $1.8 trillion more than it took in. And in fiscal year 2025, the interest on our debt is expected to exceed $1 trillion. As we continue investigating waste, fraud, and abuse, and we can look no further than the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, the LGBTQ indoctrination of our children, the systematic racism narrative, and the support for censorship being pushed by the heads of NPR and PBS are just several of the many abuses of taxpayer dollars. And if you are one of the select few who might support such content, you can personally support and fund it with your own money through private donations, because the reality is the United States of America is broke and can't afford it.
They can't
and after
afford
all,
the narrative.
PBS and NPR are already fundraising off of this committee hearing. The American people are closely following along today in this long-awaited hearing to hear the case for why Americans' hard-earned tax dollars should continue for public broadcasting. I think from what we have heard here today, the American people will not continue to allow such propaganda to be funded through the federal government with their hard-earned tax dollars. The Corporation for Public broadcasting that we give over $500 million to no longer serves the public. It serves a narrow audience of wealthy, liberal elites who are out of touch with everyday Americans. Not only have the times changed and the American people who once needed these outlets can now access the news anywhere at any time.
That's the big thing. The news, I'll jump back into this video, but the news can be accessed anywhere at any time. We don't need NPR's bull crap. I haven't listened to NPR in a long time. It was probably, I was in college being indoctrinated. And PBS, the only thing that I used to watch on PBS was the Antique Roadshow. Shout out to Catherine for winning. She says, oh, snap. Thank you so much. I haven't won anything in a long time. Well, today, girl, you are a winner. Every day you're a winner, but today you're a winner. Just go ahead and email me. I like PBS about 35 years ago when I was young, young to understand politics.
But the content that is being put out through these state-sponsored outlets is so radical, it is brainwashing the American people and, more significantly, American children with un-American, anti-family, pro-crime fake news. The American people do not support their taxpayer dollars going to NPR articles like, "How is sex determined? Scientists say it's complicated," which discusses how biological sex is not limited to male or female. Or another article about how stories on crime are rife with misinformation and racism, or about how birds and trees are racist. Over a 7-month period, the Media Research Center discovered the PBS NewsHour gave over 90% of the airtime to the left on gender ideology stories. 90%.
That's crazy.
As mentioned earlier, PBS was the outlet that featured the child predator drag queen on the education show for kids ages 3 to 8 years old. And to clarify the record, because our witness, Ms. Kerger, lied under oath and said it wasn't featured on PBS, this show was aired on PBS on April 1st, 2021. And we will take a look at this video right now. We're using a TV today because our audio system is having problems. Let's go ahead and watch this video.
The audio on this is low. Anyways, we get the point here. We get the point what PBS and NPR was doing.
Swish, swish, swish. The shoulders go shimmy, shimmy, shimmy.
Sounds like Gavin Newsom.
That's repulsive. That's not what children ages 3 to 8 should ever be watching. A grown biological man posing as a woman. And by the way, Ms. Kerger, that was aired on April 1st, 2021. And then something happened. It wasn't an accident. And it wasn't just for a brief time that it was up. It was aired April 1st, and then somehow it expired May 24th. Later on, it was taken down. I wonder why. Wonder why that was taken down. Another egregious example includes back in 2010, PBS's Travis Smiley stated that Christians blow up people every single day. Haven't seen that ever happen in my life. And today, if you look on NPR's website, there is still zero mention of any negative coverage of any Democrat today. And trust us, there are more than plenty of examples to pull from. How about a member from this committee making fun of the governor of Texas for having a disability and living his life in a wheelchair?
Oh, man. She was going in, Jasmine Crockett, talking about Governor Abbott calling him Professor X, Mr. Hot Wheels. She came out on a tweet later on. She said, I didn't mean it like that. I meant that he something with trains and cars. No, lady, you know exactly what you were doing, Miss Ghetto Crockett.
From headlines to podcasts to documentaries to children's programming, NPR and PBS have all but abandoned their promise to deliver unbiased, nonpartisan, and fact-based reporting. The American people have woken up to this nonsense and blatant disregard for truth, and truth matters. And they will not put up with it any longer. Contrary to the beliefs of the head of NPR, Ms. Marr, truth is not subjective. It's actually very important. And there are not multiple truths. There's just one. For a civilization to exist, objective truth must exist. It must be embraced. It must be protected. It is not a distraction. And despite many attempts to whitewash it, truth will prevail.
Boom. Marjorie Taylor Greene talking to the executives at PBS and NPR, testifying before the House Doge Committee. How cool is that? The House Doge Committee. Maybe the House Doge Committee can also maybe potentially upgrade some of their audio visual. The poor guy in the back has to hold up a TV and postcards to emphasize their point. I think they can make some advancements there, but not at our expense here. Not like an NGO slush fund. Meanwhile, forerunner of the 2028 election, J.D. Vance, did some military-ish today.
So here's the thing. Under President Trump's leadership, we believe in a very simple principle. We don't care who you are, where you came from. We don't care what skin color you are. We care about excellence and we care about patriotism. And if you are awesome and you are a patriotic young Marine, then we are going to do everything that we can to make you the most lethal fighting force the world has ever seen. And that is what we're doing every single day. No more quotas, no more ridiculous mumbo jumbo, no more diversity trainings. We believe the real strength and the real diversity in the United States Marine Corps is that you all come from every walk of life, come from every corner of America, and you have got the strength and the purpose to win the nation's wars. And that is what the Marine Corps is going to do, just like it's done for damn near 250 years. America, fuck yeah!
What y'all think about Taylor Greene? J.D. Vance, fight. If he keeps going like he's going, he's got a good shot at 2028. He's got a good shot at 2028. Well, Marjorie Taylor Greene was talking about gay birds and stuff like that. I don't know, what NPR was talking about, but 23andMe. Are you guys familiar with 23andMe? It's an opt-in form where you can, I think you give blood. I've never done 23andMe, but you give blood or something like that. And then they determine your ethnicity. So 23andMe is filing for bankruptcy, Chapter 11 bankruptcy. They've been in trouble, in and out of trouble in regards of financial trouble for quite some time. I think it's been 2 years. The latest humiliation, a former once thriving company valued at $6 billion, though it's still possible that some versions will outlast the financial turmoil. Its days as genetic testing juggernaut appear to be formally over. 23andMe. This is interesting because the big question is what happens to the data? And I'm diving into this, and this is an article from 2022. Guess who backs this? Google. One of Google's earliest genetic experiments, 23andMe, paid off. Here's what we'll make of the break of the future. They were once a leading juggernaut in testing, but the big question is coming up. What is going to happen with the data? We know that Google is a data company. We know Google owns YouTube. Google owns a lot of different things. In 2006, the estimated cost sequence for a single human test, their revenue was $14 million in the same year. $99 per test. But anyways, this was brought up. what's going to happen to the data?
Bankruptcy is prompting concerned users to ask the company to delete their data. Joining us right now is Teresa Payton,
Saliva
former
sample.
White House
Thank
Chief
you.
Information Officer. She's now the CEO of cybersecurity and intelligence firm Fortilus Solutions. And Teresa, this has been such an interesting story. The idea that they are going to go into bankruptcy, one of their assets that could be sold or that will be sold.
So just to confirm, it's not blood. I thought it was blood. I never done it. Excuse me. Thank you, chat. I appreciate you for that. It is, as Stephanie puts it, it is hot too. It is spit that you do with 23andMe. It is a mouth swab. Thank you for the correction, LJ and everybody. I appreciate that.
Sold is your private DNA, your genetic information. First of all, what's at risk if somebody else gets a hold of that and they don't protect it the way the original company promised to do?
Yeah, it's a great question, Becky. And, it's a story that hasn't been written yet. This is very unprecedented. And for starters, I always take note, if the California Attorney General, which has some of the strictest privacy laws in the United States, says, please delete your data because there are no protections for California residents, I sit up and take notice. So here's what we have to be thinking about here. I can't believe it's 2025 and our blue genes seem to have more privacy than our own human genes. If this data were to be sold, if you can match this data with our personal information, our biometric data, in the wrong hands, this creates the opportunity for a digital walk-in on your life, on my life, that would be nearly virtually impossible to push that digital walk-in out. Once somebody has your genetic code, it can also be used in algorithms to make decisions about insurance. That could be a good thing or it could be a bad thing. We really don't understand who could buy this data and how it could be used against us.
What?
I have a question for the chat. Let me know, chat. Do you think that this data, the saliva, the HOC2 data that 23andMe has is greater or less than the data that, let's say, Amazon has on you, or your, if you own a Tesla, or your cell phone? Which one is going to be, more valuable to data scalpers?
Why are there no protections? Why doesn't a bankruptcy judge just say, you can't sell that, that's not yours to sell? We gave away our rights when we signed up for this stuff to begin with?
Many people opted into terms and conditions and user agreements that may allow in bankruptcy court for that data, which is truly a golden asset, up for sale in this bankruptcy proceeding. So, maybe we can all hope that a judge is going to rule in our favor, Becky, but I'm a big believer in we can't wait for Superman to save us on this. People should take into their own hands.
The problem is that even people who have been trying to delete their information this week, some have been successful, many have not been successful because there's been so much activity to this website, like they've probably never seen before. So if you are trying unsuccessfully to do that, what are your options?
Well, there is an email. There's 2 email accounts that I found that people can actually email. So now you...
Okay, so you can officially delete your data if you did 23andMe. That's what Catherine said also, and this is what this woman says on CNBC. So you can delete your data. You can go on there and delete your data. Russell says, my family name is on the male side, goes back to the 1300s in the Netherlands, which I can track online records kept by the Dutch government. My DNA is 83% German. Awesome. That is awesome. I am actually half German as well. I'm half German and Filipino. 23andMe uses saliva samples. I had asked a question. Catherine said you can delete the data. Let's see. They have, I don't know. Maybe they're going to clone people. I don't know. Clone organs. Like they harvest organs at Planned Parenthood. DNA is worse for sure. DNA could be used with AI to control mankind before it's over. This is what the revelation is talking about. Whew. Whew. Boy, I got a visual of Terminator. It's all corrupt equally. We're no longer safe. Yeah, thank you. He says, Russell says, I thought you looked a good deal German. Yeah, actually, German is my second language. I grew up, so my grandma, if those of you that are new here, my grandma was raised in Nazi Germany during World War II. And my mom was in Germany and they came over here. And German is my second language. I can understand it more so now. I can understand it. I have like a very elementary dialect when it comes to German now, since I don't use it frequently. Milwaukee Zoo says, shout out to the Germapinos. I love that. Oh, man. Yeah, LJ, they're already cloning people. The first mammal was successfully cloned decades ago. Yep. So 23andMe, going through BK. Meanwhile, Donald Trump wants to be known as the fertilization president.
Fertilization. I'm still very proud of it. I don't care. I'll be known as the fertilization president. That's okay. That's not bad. That's not bad. Baby boom, baby boom, baby boom, baby bonuses.
Trump spoke and called himself the fertilization president at a Women's History Month speech. Trump is on a roll here. Oh, man. Here we go. Here's Trump's. This is about a 3-minuter here. He's got 5 kids of his own, loves them all, and none of them are drug addicts. That's what LJ says. It's crazy. You know, when you look at it, right? When you look at Obama's kids, when you look at Hunter Biden, when you look at Biden's kids, not Hunter. Well, when you look at Hunter Biden, he's a crackhead. Okay. He says he's clean. But based on that creepy video that he posted a couple weeks ago, that boy is not clean. He is about as clean as a gas station restroom. Okay? That guy is not clean.
Well, thank you, people there. This is great. It's a great honor to be with you. And I want to thank everyone and welcome you to the most spectacular place, the White House. We're ending the Marxist war on women, and you had a war on women, and we're protecting women's rights, defending women's dignity, and standing up for the American moms and daughters. So many are represented here, great people in this room. For 4 long years, we had an administration that tried to abolish the very concept of womanhood and replace it with radical gender ideology. Maybe you heard something about that. They destroyed women's spaces and even tried to replace the word mother with the term birther person. A mother became a birther person. What's that all about? Then you wonder why they lost. They're trying to figure out why did they lose. But we also, by the way, we lowered energy costs really like tremendously. Energy's way down. Cost of gasoline's way down. The cost of groceries, a word that I used a lot on the campaign. It's like an old-fashioned word, but it's a beautiful word, very descriptive word. And the groceries are coming down, Brooke, at a level that we're finally getting costs under control in our country. We're going to have tremendous goodies in the bag for women, too. The women, between the fertilization and all of the other things that we're talking about, it's going to be great. We're joined today. Fertilization. I'm still very proud of it. I don't care. I'll be known as the fertilization president. That's okay. That's not bad. That's not bad. I've been called much worse. Actually, I like it, right? I like it. Thank you.
Fertilization president. There we go. LJ says, did you know both Bo and Ashley Biden were addicts too? I did not know that. I did not know that. What were they addicted to? The same thing that Hunter was? Little Santana, clean or not, Hunter was scared straight without Secret Service. Yep. The Obamas had to borrow 2 kids to make it look like they had some. Yep. Just 2 dudes having fun. Baby Barack and Big Mike. Just 2 dudes having fun. All good. I guess her podcast isn't doing too well either. Her, Big Mike and her brother doing a podcast together. Dennis, Hunter Biden is as clean as a baby's dirty diaper. That is funny. It's crazy. Birther person. I didn't know that they changed that. I know that they changed in real estate. They changed the word master bedroom into primary bedroom. They were upset that it's called a master bedroom. It's been called a master bedroom for years. It's where the master sleeps. It's where the owner of the house sleeps. But they didn't change the name of plantation shutters. They're still called plantation shutters. I don't get it. You pick and choose, I guess. Yeah, Terry, you don't need to watch Big Mike's podcast or Gavin's podcast. It's, I don't think it's worth your time. AOC, be sure to smash the like button if you kindly would. It does help with the YouTube algorithms. AOC on Tesla attacks and her answer.
FBI investigating the bombs found in a Tesla showroom in Austin as protesters prepare for their Tesla takedown day of action this week. Here's AOC on who she's blaming for the violence against Teslas.
Do you think Democrats are to blame for why people are so triggered by this? Because
no, absolutely
when
not.
you're at rallies saying, not you particularly, but your colleagues saying F Elon Musk and using other words, to profane words to describe him, does that rile people up, your supporters, to take action on their own?
I don't know. I think about Republicans calling me a communist and Republicans saying that I hate this country. And I certainly have felt the impact of that.
Ain't nobody doing nothing to you, AOC. You over exaggerating POS. You remember when J6 happened? She was like, I almost got aped. I almost was murdered in J6. She was miles away from the situation. Miles. It was so terrifying. Nobody cares that much about you, AOC. But when you go on the news networks and you say F Elon Musk or we need to burn him down, Trump is Hitler, what do you expect's going to happen to some of these folks that are a little in the head? They're going to be burning Teslas. They're going to be throwing Molotov cocktails in places. The Tesla Vandal guy, to go off of AOC's scenario here, yeah, she has no brain. She has no brain. LJ says, type Michelle into the YouTube search engine and Obama comes up 4th. That's how. Dry heat. She can't make a decent margarita. I don't think my negative rhetoric or the way that I say F Elon Musk and he needs to burn, I don't think that has any impact on why people are burning Teslas. I don't think so. Come on, AOC. No brains, AOC. Yeah. Dennis, as if AOC didn't call Trump a Nazi. Exactly. So this vandalism, this guy that set these Tesla charging stations on fire. This is how bright this gentleman is. You know, he was bright enough to make a Molotov cocktail, but he caught himself on fire.
At this hour, I'm Christina Owayo in Dallas, and here are your top stories. 24-year-old Daniel Clark Pounder is facing 20 years behind bars after he allegedly firebombed a Tesla charging station in Charleston and spray-painted F Trump, long live Ukraine. Clark Pounder burned down 3 EV chargers in a South Carolina parking lot and accidentally set himself on fire while doing it. Witnesses who saw Clark Pounder running from the North Charleston lot said they saw him throwing 5 Molotov cocktails at the charging station, bolting and leaving $60,000 in damages behind. According to an initial police report, witnesses said that the suspect had accidentally caught their own back on fire while throwing the devices. Clark Pounder is a mechanic from James Island. He was arrested after police asked the public to help find him. Cops say they found beer bottle shards, a glass-soaked car, and a wild anti-Musk manifesto at his place. He faces a maximum of 20 years in prison and was previously arrested for DUI in 2023. Last week, a Colorado test.
Dude. Good. You're going to federal prison for 20 years. Long live Ukraine. That's what he said. And he caught himself on fire. Come on, man. Come on. You cannot make these stories up. Gina says, Barry is a power Barry is a power bottom.
Got him!
Oh, man. It's about time, Terry says. Accountability. Yep. His name is, what's his name? Romper something.
24-year-old Daniel Clark Pounder is facing 20 years behind bars.
Clark Pounder. Going to be getting a lot of that in the federal pen. Mr. Pounder. Oh, man. He's going to be Pound Town for Mr. Pounder.
20 years behind bars after he allegedly firebombed.
Pound Town for Mr. Pounder. Jessica Velasquez, I need a Tesla. Yes. Teslas are freaking cool. I think I was sharing this on a video a couple videos ago. A lease for a Model Y right now is $1,500 down and $335 a month. Stephanie, quarter pounder over here. Oh, thanks to Soros for melting in our for melting in our politics. Yep. Shout out to Jason. Shout out to Jason for the super chat. Really appreciate you for the super chat. Thank you. Get baked tequila and hate watch woke Snow Brown. Oh man, emotional. Damn. Yeah, these guys are toast. Mr. Pounder's gonna be in Pound Town. You guys have me cracking up in the chat. Mike gives Barry a good pounder. Oh boy. Speaking of quarter pounder, We got a half pounder. We got Jasmine Ghetto Crockett. Jasmine Ghetto Crockett. Unhinged rep Ghetto Crockett. His butt will be impounded over. Oh, unhinged left rep Jasmine Ghetto Crockett swears at Republicans during race baiting rant in the House at the Doge hearing. Listen to this, guys.
Crockett for 5 minutes. Thank you so much. It should not be surprising that the president is doing everything possible to make it more difficult for the media to hold him accountable and for the public to be informed about his reckless and illegal behavior. Yet here we are. The Republicans have actually organized this goofy hearing to try to convince the American people that PBS and NPR are, quote, domestic terrorists or domestic threats. My apologies. Not the incompetent, unqualified Secretary of Defense who's texting war plans to journalists. But it's y'all, PBS and NPR, the American people are supposed to be worried about. You can't make this up. It's as stupid as it sounds. The American people should be worried about the president threatening to investigate NBC for treason for reporting on his felony convictions, or arresting reporters and stripping networks of their licenses for not saying nice things about him or not using Gulf of America. The Republicans' witness, Mr. Gonzalez, went so far as to suggest that because NPR and PBS reported on the murder of George Floyd, they, quote, represent a danger to our physical health as well as to civic health of our body politics. Ms. Mayor, do you think reporting on the murder of George Floyd and highlighting instances of systemic racism is a domestic threat to America?
Thank you, Congresswoman. I believe it's our responsibility to report on all issues of interest to the American public.
Thank you so much. Ms. Kerger, what about you?
I agree. I think it's important for us to report on the important news of the day.
So let's talk about the critical role of public media. During his first term, President Trump's own Department of Homeland Security highlighted the importance of public broadcasting's role in public safety. In 2018, his administration stated, quote, PBS and local public television stations play a crucial role in protecting communities by delivering essential information to individuals and first responders. These benefits are all made possible by public broadcasting stations' unique reach, reliability, and role across America, and are especially vital in rural and underserved areas. Madam Chairwoman, I would ask unanimous consent. I seek unanimous consent to enter into the record the 2018
Without objection, so ordered.
Let me fast forward here.
Mr. Olm,
dismantling
the only broadcast advocating to strip their enforcement, and they don't care about free speech.
Here we
the
go.
American people, particularly America of WOAH, Channel 18, and the Chairwoman's district hurt Americans.
It would hurt Americans, yes.
In fact, Georgia Public Broadcasting serves as the official distributor of evacuation route information during state-ordered evacuations, and the chairwoman is here advocating to strip their funding. Look, the DOGE agenda isn't about government efficiency. It's about breeding corruption at the expense of the safety of the American people, particularly Americans living in rural or remote parts of the country. They don't care about public safety. They don't care about emergency management, and they don't care about free speech, all of which are harming American people. In fact, I'm going to skip off real quick because they have tried to come for you, Ms. Mayor. And I just want to clarify, you did not work for NPR when those statements were made, did you?
That is correct, Madam
And to
Chair.
be clear, free speech is not about whatever it is that y'all want somebody to say. And the idea that you want to shut down everybody that is not Fox News is bullshit. We need to stop playing because that's what y'all are doing in here. You don't want to hear the opinions of anybody else. And the Constitution says Congress shall make no law respecting or establishing of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof or abridging the
The gentlewoman's time has expired. The gentlewoman's time has expired.
She's really living up to this act. This this homegirl sister act.
Safety. They don't care about emergency management, and they don't care about free speech. All of which are, in fact, I'm gonna skip off real quick.
I'm gonna skip off real quick.
Tried to come for you, Miss Mayor, and I just want to clarify: you did not work for NPR when those statements were made, did you?
That is correct, Madam
And to
Chair.
be clear, free speech is not about whatever it is that y'all want somebody to say.
She's really doing it up with this, you know, trying to get the black vote thing. It reminds me of that scene from Tropic Thunder. This one right here.
Back before the war broke out, I was a saucier in San Antonio. I bet I could call up some of them greens. Yeah, noodle some crawfish out the patio. I made some crab apples for dessert now, yeah?
Yeah, get some crawfish and some ribs.
Some crawfish. I'm gonna skip off here in a minute. She's really living this this persona of hers, of her this name, Ghetto Crockett. Curb service Crockett. Oh, what is up, Ricardo? Ricardo in the house. Yes, this girl has TDS, EDS, and BS. Ghetto Crockett. Oh, man. What is up, Kayla? Hope you're feeling better. What's the opposite of Vanilla Ice? Jasmine Crockett. Girl, I'm going to skip off here in a minute. You know what I'm finna do? Gosh. When did she? That's all she has. That's all she has. She doesn't have anything else. That's it. So she has to identify. It's not even working because it's ghetto. Did you guys see Pete Buttigieg cussing too? Pete Buttigieg was over here cussing. I've never heard this dude cuss on social media. Now all of a sudden, see, Jasmine Crockett is a social media person now. Now she has to act black or whatever that means, right? I don't even want to say act black because that's not even correct, but like act ghetto to get the black votes. Pete Buttigieg cussing. What? The dude pretended to ride a bike. He said that, oh, I ride my bike to work, and then got his bike dropped off a block away from work and then jumped on the bike and rode to work. You didn't ride your bike to work, bro. Yes, pandering, 100%. 100%. That's all she's doing is pandering. Meanwhile, I've never seen this many self-deportations. Immigration lawyer says on Newsmax.
Is notching a win at the southern border as the number of migrants illegally crossing into the U.S. falls dramatically. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem sharing those startling numbers with News Nation's Ali Bradley, a whopping 95% drop in migrants since January. News Nation's Jorge Ventura is live for us in San Antonio. So, Jorge, could we possibly see an even lower number of migrant encounters in March?
Well, Kelly, sources confirming to News Nation that in the first 12 days of this month, the daily illegal crossings total is at 2,927. That's an average of just 244 for the first 12 days of March. And if that trend does continue, we could see those daily migrant encounters finish lower than February. And President Trump is taking a lap in that reaction to those lower numbers in decades. President Trump taking to Truth Social to say, quote, thanks to the Trump administration policies, the border is closed to all illegal immigrants. Anyone who tries to illegally enter the USA will face significant criminal penalties and immediate deportation. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, speaking with News Nation's Ali Bradley, Noem says illegal crossings are down 95% since Trump took office in January during her border visit on the border in Nogales, Arizona.
This is an announcement to the entire world. America's borders are closed if you want to come here illegally. We only want people in our country who love America and want to follow our laws.
Since January, the Trump administration has ended the CBP-1 app, pressured Mexico to deploy troops to its northern border to curb migration flow to the U.S. border, ended catch and release by Border Patrol, and reinstated the Remain in Mexico policy.
95% fewer migrant crossings on the border. 2,000 in March. 95% down. They converted the CB1 app where you could go, the migrants can come across the border and book and go to a sanctuary city and get hooked up with food and stay in a nice hotel. And then they turned it into the CB Home app, has ET as the picture on the app. Amigos go home. The golden age. Adios, Jessica Velasquez says. Jason, CB Home app is absolutely genius. They have to rewrite and redo everything that the Biden administration has done. Open border policy, all of this. ICE made a stark warning because people have been consistently filming and leaking material or leaking these raids. And they got to tell these folks, hey, step back, because people are filming with their phone, trying to be journalists or whatever they're doing, because their boyfriend, who's also a criminal or whatever, is getting deported. And ICE is saying, hey, you got to back up. So this is it's embarrassing. Yeah. Gina W says now they're chasing boats on a full ocean. Yep. Ice, baby. Dun 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 dun. Ice, baby.
All new tonight, back up or else. That's the warning from federal agents conducting immigration enforcement. Some say it's a scare tactic. Others say it's a good move for safety. Our chief investigative reporter, Lynn Kawano, explains the change.
ICE does not use crime scene tape, but say they will now establish a perimeter when doing operations to keep the public back.
Advocates taking cell phone videos of immigration activity up close will not be allowed anymore.
I support 100% the First Amendment right to not agree with us on what we're doing. However, I just ask that they allow my agents to do their work, because there's a fine line between interfering in what we're doing and then protesting.
Homeland Security investigations, which includes ICE, has been mandated to pick up undocumented people. In Hawaii, operations have spread throughout the islands, with the most notable arrests in Kona, where multiple immigrant families have been picked up and deported. A woman and her children, a man and his 7-year-old, a Konawaina elementary school student. Videos of the raids have sparked social media outrage.
We'll ask them to step back. And if they don't do that, then at that point we will warn them again. Once they interfere in that, then we will have to take legal matters against that.
They have a right to film police officers, but they don't have a right to obstruct justice, obstruct an investigation, interfere with police officers doing their duties. So really, this is actually a good thing on the part of the agencies to tell people, hey, look, if we're doing these investigations, you need to step back, because if you get too close, we'll deem that to be interference and we will arrest you.
Advocates say the boundaries need to be defined so that the public can still document the event.
Clearly identify to the public where they can and can't go. However, I'm starting to be under the impression that ambiguity is the point. What are we afraid of? If we're out here just rounding up criminals and gang members.
So far, no one has been arrested for crossing into an ICE operation in Hawaii.
So there we go. Jason says ICE over here in Cleveland in a Dodge truck and minivan just popped up and nabbed people, gone in 60 seconds, literally. In and out. Reminds me of a little, there was a situation here in Las Vegas. There was an ice cream truck. And on the ice cream truck, It had like a big badge on it, and it said ICE, real big, and then cream, really small. And people here were scared. They were saying that they were scared because they thought it was an ice truck dubbing as an ice cream truck. I don't know if that gentleman changed the graphics on his truck, but I don't think that it would be that obvious. Okay, you'd have to be silly if you were an illegal migrant, a criminal, and you went up to a truck that said ICE. This is just common sense. Terry says ICE is nearby here too. Milwaukee Zeus, Big Mike tells Obama to back up or else. Steph says, fun fact, companies' trucks look exactly like immigration trucks in the front of WOAH, clears immediately when someone pulls in. I have not been, I personally have not been to Home Depot in a while. I know they used to hang out there quite a bit. I'm just being honest. They used to hang out there and ask for jobs. I don't know if they're still doing that. I don't think so. Illegals keep telling themselves by their foreign flags and vehicles. Busted. Exactly. Jessica Velasquez, I'm in Texas and the Border Patrol is everywhere. That's awesome. Catherine writes, they don't have the right to make it dangerous for ICE. Exactly. Because you don't know. You don't know, how this person's going to react. If they're a criminal, you don't know how this person's going to react if they're getting detained and ICE is swooping them up. You don't know if they got a gun on them. You don't know what's going to happen. It sounds like they got a smooth operation. Gina W says, come on, get your ice cream. We all scream for ice cream. Yeah, buddy. Oh, yes, we frequent at Lowe's as well. They frequent at Lowe's as well. They still do it, but leave when we pass. And look at this. Christy Nome in El Salvador cutting a promo saying no mas.
Visiting this facility. And first of all, I want to thank El Salvador and their president for their partnership with the United States of America to bring our terrorists here and to incarcerate them and have consequences for the violence that they have perpetuated in our communities. I also want everybody to know, if you come to our country illegally, this is one of the consequences you could face. First of all, do not come to our country illegally. You will be removed and you will be prosecuted. But know that this facility is one of the tools in our toolkit that we will use if you commit crimes against the American people. Here at CCOT today, and
they're all just looking at the camera in the background with their shaved heads, shaved beards, tatted up, MS-13, Tren de Aragua tattoos, teardrop tattoos, and Christy Nome is like, yo, you see this back here? You see this? This is where you're going to go. El Salvador. An innocent man. I love your profile pic, by the way. A week ago, I saw them pull some Southerners out of a car here in Central Valley in traffic and take off in black vehicles. That is savage. Man, I wouldn't want to turn my back there. Yeah, absolutely, Ricardo. No. Yeah, James X. Those inmates will be thinking about her for months. They're all locked up in the same cell. These bunk beds. This is like a triple decker bunk bed situation going on here. They're definitely going to be thinking about her for the next couple months. Señorita Christy Nomes. Oh, man. Alina Habba speaks to reporters outside the White House regarding the hoax, the signal leak, distraction hoax. I like Miss Habba. What a fitting last name, too. Yeah. Catherine says they're all looking at her for sure. Stacey R., I wouldn't have gone there. Incoherent Clam. Hey, Tyson, I got a job making $35 an hour, cleaning mansions, all illegals. We're making Uber Eats literally like $14 an hour. Crazy. I want to report my old job. LOL. I don't know if they still have it going on, but there used to be an app or a situation where you can submit and then you get some type of spiff off of it, like a reward. I think it was like $100 or something like that. I don't know if that's still going on, but yeah, check it out. Wednesday night is your night to play Christy Gnome in the back corner. You don't want that nightmare scenario ever. I just got a crazy visual in my head thinking about the human centipede in that El Salvadorian prison. Don't know why I went there. But anyways, Alina Habba calls the signal leak a distraction. Here we go.
Good morning, everybody. Hi, Alina. Can you give a reaction to the Atlanta police all of the text messages and the chain in Signal? Now we have all the details, which included from the text dropping.
Front about it. We went in yesterday, as you saw, the better of the day, and got questions and answers by everybody, Tulsi, FBI, Kash, Patel. Look, it is what it is. At the end of the day, this is, in my opinion, something that they're making a big to-do about nothing. This reporter, that is trying to get clout, that I also saw was on TV last night, trying to brand his own name and talk about this. I'm not surprised. It's the Atlantic. I frankly have never read the Atlantic. I don't plan to, but we answered the questions. I'm going to defer to those answers from the cabinet. Yeah.
Do you think that any Trump administration official should be held accountable? Someone like Walt, someone like Hansen, who was in this chat.
Listen, we're allowed to have communications. That's period, the end. And the president spoke to this. We stand by Mike Waltz. He's doing a tremendous job. I think this is a distraction. I'm really not going to stand here and answer questions that the better part of yesterday was spent by the people that were actually involved answering. I was not a part of that conversation, but I will say this. We need to be looking at all the good things that we're doing, and every time to come out and to speak to the press and have it be a negative spin, it's much like what I've done for the better of 4 years. The negative spin needs to stop. Waltz has done a tremendous job, and let's talk about what he did. He took down the Houthis with Pete Hegseth, and that was important not for this country alone, but also for the world. So I'm very proud of the work that this administration is doing, and I would love if the press for once would focus on the actual facts and actions of this administration. This is frankly just noise. I'm used to it, but it's noise. Yeah.
So she says it's just noise, and it's true. Terry, I want to get to your comment here. I heard ICE wanted to hire bounty hunters a while ago. Yep. I heard that too. Jessica Velasquez, Alina Habba is a baddie too. Yeah. Catherine, it's a big nothing burger. It's a hoax. I'm sure about Elon, to be honest. All I know is he's in the right lane right now. Yep. And then we had the press secretary, Miss Levitt, say the same thing. Here we go.
Going to bend in the face of this insincere outrage. And here's just one example of how bad faith the Democrats' criticisms are. Democrat Senator Mark Warner is hysterical over the use of Signal, which is an approved decrypted app, in the killing of Houthi terrorists. But Senator Warner himself used Signal to work with a lobbyist for a Russian oligarch to connect the disgraced Steele dossier author who started the Russia hoax, which Jeffrey Goldberg later reported on. How ironic. We're not going to lose focus of the bottom line, which is that Joe Biden's weakness enabled and emboldened Houthi terrorists, and President Trump's strength and resolve eliminated those terrorists. Here in our new media seat today.
Boom. There we go. Just Dennis, Alina Habba is 100% correct. A distraction. They want to report the signal stuff. I reported on it yesterday because it was on the news and it was spiraling out of control. It was probably some bull crap that they just wanted to push out, but they're not talking about the manufacturing jobs that are coming back. They're not talking about the investments in the United States. They're not talking about eggs anymore or gas prices. So they have nothing to talk about besides hoaxes. Leads us into the next hoax buster of all time, the one and only.
877 cash now. 877 cash now. They help thousands, they'll help you too. One lump sum of cash they will pay to you. If you get long-term payments but you need cash now, call J.G. Wentworth. 877 cash now. 877 cash now. 877 cash now. 877 cash now.
So we got Kash, FBI Director Kash Patel shuts down whiny Democrat with an epic reply after she demands him to investigate. And the Trump administration, she says, I demand you to investigate this signal situation. And he comes back with an absolute epic, demolishing reply. Here we go.
Another day has passed.
Well, actually, it was the night before the hearing.
Now that another day has passed, do you believe that it's now time potentially for the FBI to open an investigation into this?
I'm not going to comment on that.
Because you're the director of the FBI, you don't believe it's appropriate to comment on that?
Because there's a process in place, there's an ongoing litigation, and the National Security Council is reviewing this matter. And I'm not going to discuss any open or closed
That
investigation.
ongoing investigation, literally, the lawsuit happened today or yesterday afternoon. And the idea that you don't have an opinion on this at this point is frustrating to me.
No, it's not.
My
I'm not
final
going to
question,
prejudge
reclaiming
any
my
matters,
time, my
and the men
final
and women of the
question,
FBI
reclaiming my
will
time, reclaiming
call
my
the
time,
balls and strikes.
reclaiming my time,
Not
sir.
you.
Sir, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to have.
Gentleman's recognized. You have
Thank
4
you.
seconds remaining.
No, I have more than
You have
that
2
because
seconds
Mr.
remaining.
Patel would not add.
Gentlewoman's time has expired. Mr. Stubbe.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
He said, I have all the balls and strikes, not you. Kash Patel laying it down. 877 call Kash now. It's pure gold. These guys are standing up to these folks. I love Kash. That's what Stephanie says. Kash is great. Yeah. Jessica Velasquez, Trump made all great picks. They really did. They can stand up on their own against these murmuring Democrats, over speaking, asking a question. They ask a question and then they immediately interrupt. No wonder why their time is up so rapidly, because you ask the question and then you ask another question. You don't let them answer. And then they say, he didn't answer the question because you didn't let him answer the question. Dan Bongino. Kash is just getting started. MAGA baddies. Love it. All right. So get this. Chris Hansen nabs another hombre and a sex sting. He was known for, how to catch a predator, like how to catch these sexual predators and stuff like that. But he's tying it in now with catching hombres.
One of our main entry points, down 100%. The migrants just stopped coming. At this rate, Melugin might be out of a job. And the illegals who are already here still have a chance to self-deport, thanks to the CBP One app. Remember, Joe Biden used it kind of as like an open table for illegals where they can just make a reservation to break into the country. But Trump took it over, and now Juan can only make a reservation to leave. And for the illegals who are still here and choose to prey on America's children, Chris Hansen has a surprise.
Come on in. It's nice and warm in here.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So I'm Ivy.
Ivy.
This is Sky.
Yes, Sky. How you doing?
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
All right. Do you want to go ahead and get ready? Okay.
How you doing?
Ah,
Good.
busted.
You have a seat right over there in that stool there. Huh? Good to see you. Have a seat over there. Okay. How you
Yo, how are these guys still falling for the same tricks? Okay, they're falling for the same tricks. They catch these folks on roadblocks. Shout out to Jax for the super chat. Thank you so much, Jax, for the super chat. Really appreciate you. Did you hear Kenneth Copeland got life in prison? No, I didn't. These guys are falling. I'll pull that up after this one. These guys are falling for the same tricks. You don't watch 90s television, 2000 television? Busted, bro. Catching these folks on, hey, come over. My mom isn't home. My mom isn't home. And I'm ready. And then they show up. And then this happens.
doing?
Good.
Good. What's happening?
Not much.
It's quite a car you got out there.
It is.
Yeah. Fast?
Huh?
Fast?
Fast.
Is it a fast car?
A little bit.
Yeah. Are you here in this country legally?
I'm married.
But are you a U.S. citizen?
I'm fixing my status.
You're trying to become a U.S. citizen. And what country are you from?
Mexico.
Mexico.
Chris Hansen's the host of Takedown. That guy was showing up to see two women.
He was showing up to have sex with a 15-year-old girl who was being sold, trafficked by her older relative.
Oh, boy.
Mother.
All right.
So
and
you
this
get the
guy's
picture
from
there.
Mexico?
He's from Mexico. He worked at a medical center in Birmingham, Alabama, in maintenance. He brought a lot of money, like $4,000, and his shirt, Jesse, said, "Snake in the grass."
These people don't even understand the irony here.
Well, he was one of 6 men we arrested, along with the Blount County Sheriff Mark Moon and his team, the 2 days before Valentine's Day. So what a surprise they got, right?
Oh, boy.
One of the men, Anthony, shows up, and he was packing heat.
Let's see it.
Ricardo Freedom says looks like he soiled himself. So listen to this. This guy shows up, same situation. My mom's not home. I'm ready. You can come over. We can play video games. I'll order a Dr. Pepper.
Have you ever met anybody online for sex before?
Never.
Well, that's not what you said before. So, Anthony, there's some stuff you need to know.
I do.
No. You got condoms there. You got a loaded gun. Is it a 9? Anthony, look at me for a minute. And then I'm going to let these guys take over. I'm Chris Hansen.
Oh, I'm on a TV show?
You're on the TV show.
I mean, how many times?
You're on a TV show. He's like, the condoms weren't for this situation. I was gonna come over. We were gonna play Mario Kart, and the condoms for when I was gonna get out of here. No, bro. No, you had a gun and condoms with you. This guy also had some other stuff in his car.
Does that happen?
Almost every time. You know, in the last month, we've busted about 18 guys, Jesse, all over the country. And usually, if they don't recognize me in the very beginning, at some point during the conversation, they do. This fellow, Anthony, not only had the gun that was in his waistband loaded, he had another gun in his car along with 30 credit cards that were not his.
Did they even recognize you if they're from Mexico?
Sometimes they do. Now, interestingly, every time we catch an illegal, I like to go back and see what the United States has done for that country, Mexico. From 2001 to 2024, USA gave Mexico $22 billion. That's all in. That's USAID, Homeland Security, the whole thing.
Wow.
Last year, 2024, $185 million. Now, that included $38 million in administrative costs for USAID, as well as $7 million for pay and benefits. And get this, we gave them another $7.5 million to help Mexico reduce its carbon emissions to 0.
Oh, wonderful. Did they do that? The answer is no.
No. And we gave them another $5 million for vulnerable people on the move and $10 million to help Mexican workers form labor unions.
Wow.
Crazy. Pedos always get set free. It's money making for the crooks. Yeah, gift cards for Biden votes. That's what Steph writes. You know, these guys are getting caught with the same scheme, and it's working. It works. It works all the time. You would think that they would have caught up on this situation. But I'm glad that it's working. I'm glad we're getting the pedos off the street. I can't believe this guy was going to go in there, 14-year-old girl. You know what? Those folks, honestly, that's one of the things that pisses me off the most is when people do that to kids and they harm animals. Those are the two big things that piss me off the most is when people harm kids like that. Honestly, I think they should be shot at the stake. Burned at the stake or whatever the phrase is, because kids are innocent. Same thing with animals. Yeah, absolutely sick. Yeah. Jason, hear about the firing squad on death row. Yep. Could you imagine? Dude, that would definitely send a message to these pedos. It's sick. It's disgusting. Burned at the stake. Terry says exactly, Tyson. Yep, burned at the stake. It was a crazy transition for this next topic, though. Remember that woman that got burned in the subway by the illegal migrant? Well, he appeared in court today. And guess what? Listen to this.
With burning a woman alive on a subway car in Coney Island faces a judge. And News 12's Julia Joseph was inside of the courtroom again for us with the suspected killer. And she has the latest. Julia.
Sebastian Zapata stood just about 40 feet away from me in court today. He was shackled in handcuffs. He had a fresh haircut, but his demeanor was still the same. He stared directly into the space in front of him for the speedy minute-and-a-half appearance before court officers escorted him right back out. It's hard to forget this horrific murder that the 33-year-old is charged with, lighting 57-year-old Sabrina Kawam on fire while she was sleeping on an F train in December. He pled not guilty in January to charges of first-degree murder and arson, actions the prosecution says left Kawam burnt to the point of unrecognition. In the indictment, prosecutors show Zapata pictures and a video of someone lighting Kawam on fire. When asked who the man is, Zapata responded, "That's me." During questioning, he also admitted that he has a drinking problem, which overcame him on that fateful December morning. Inside the courtroom this afternoon, the district attorney's office asking Judge Daniel Chun to order Zapata to provide a new DNA sample.
We want jail time, but he also, in respect of the family, he should be deported.
A local community leader speaking on behalf of Kawam's family today. They've not been in court yet themselves.
Now
This is crazy. The dude pled not guilty. There's video footage of you, bro, burning this woman alive. And he said, "Oh, I have a drinking problem." I don't care. You don't burn people alive if you got a drinking problem. And he's an illegal migrant. Get his butt out of here. Jason says, I grew up in New Jersey. Yep. That guy chose it. Said it actually was faster and less painful. Crazy. Gina says we need to give the D penalty to all children offenders, no exceptions. Yep. LJ, wood chippers work well too. Whoo, boy. I wouldn't wood chipper. Imagine that. Imagine somebody going through a wood chipper. That would suck. That would suck. Yeah, get him out of here. Spacey Stacy says, get him out of here. That dude needs to go. That was murder. I know people with a drinking problem, they don't hurt a fly. Exactly. Exactly. So, quick story on this. I was signing some documents with my mom the other day, and she looked at my ID and she said, "Hey, you don't got the real ID." I said, "What, the real ID?" Anyways, that led me down to this story. And then I looked at the dates, and it's May. I think it's May 7th for the real ID. And people are, and I'm going to be one of them, scrambling to get some of these appointments here.
Are packed with people lining up to get a real ID. In New Jersey, extra real ID appointments are added on Thursdays. New appointments open daily at 7 a.m. And in New York, offices are offering weekend hours to cut down on crowds. They post new openings on a rolling basis. So while you wait for your place in line, hoping to get in before the May deadline, others are selling their spots, but for a huge cost. Here's David Navarro.
With a deadline just weeks away, DMVs around the country are packed as people line up for hours to get their real ID.
From the time that you got here to now you walked out, how long did it take you? 4.5 hours.
Real ID is the new form of identification that federal lawmakers push for after terrorist attacks on 9/11. It requires more of your personal information to be verified. It's taken some time to roll it out, but now the deadline is here, beginning on May 7th.
So May 7th is the deadline on that. Honestly, I will probably wait. I will probably wait, just like Dry Heat mentioned, because a passport is all you need. I re-upped my passport about a year ago. So yeah, if you got a passport, that's all you need. You need it to fly anywhere, go into government buildings and such. Yeah. Catherine writes, we need to get new IDs because Biden gave IDs to illegals. Yeah. Gina W, reopen Alcatraz for pedos. Somebody said, I don't remember who said it, but it would ruin a good wood chipper. Oh, LJ, yeah, there's nothing worse than the Las Vegas DMV. I had booked, it was like a month and a half out for my car registration. It took, anyways, I called this place that does it, and they do it for me, and they did it way before I was able to even get an appointment. So illegals don't get one. I call BS on this. Yep. My mind said he got his real ID. No, it doesn't affect driving. It just, honestly, the real ID is just for travel, to get on planes. Even if you're going to, let's say, Connecticut to Arizona, you need your real ID, presumably, but you could utilize your passport. Terry says the CT real ID indication at the star at the top on the right-hand corner. Yep. So it doesn't affect driving, guys. So nothing about that, but. Listen to this. Mega church pastor caught breaking into a home. I don't know what's going on with these mega church pastors lately. Video catches former mega church pastor sneaking into a woman's home in a stalking case. Former pastor of Virginia of a mega church is convicted of burglary and stalking after video captured him inside this woman's home. This is crazy to me. This is why people are very skeptical about churches, because of these particular folks.
Home invasion. A man with a flashlight enters a single mom's house and ends up caught on her security camera. And when she...
What happens after the deadline? I want to answer that question. Nothing. As long as you have your passport, you're good. But I would get it ASAP regarding the ID.
She looked at the video. She knew who it was right away. Here's why.
It's terrifying. A man caught on security tape breaking into a home. What made this even more shocking is the identity of the intruder. It was 43-year-old Marie Columna's pastor. There he was in her kitchen, clearly identifiable.
You would never think a pastor would do anything bad to anyone.
When you follow God's vision, and it's not just any church. 49-year-old Sergio Guardia was a pastor at a mega church, the 24,000-member Thomas Road Baptist Church in Lynchburg, Virginia. Maria and her husband were very close with the pastor and his wife, as seen in this photo. What was Pastor Guardia like?
Very charismatic, extremely nice.
But after she divorced her husband, Marie says the pastor's behavior became increasingly odd.
He started just showing up to my house. My
He's trying
kids
to
wouldn't be
slip in
home.
there.
It'd be in the middle of the day. And he would just show up and bring me groceries. He did that a handful of times. Sometimes I would get home and he'd be right on my porch. So I couldn't even avoid him.
But nothing prepared her for this. Surveillance video, which was taken while she was away for the weekend with her 2 kids.
I just couldn't process that it was Sergio.
Lo and behold, he came back the next day.
I was watching the live feed of him entering my daughter's bedroom.
She called the cops, and you can see them with guns drawn. They even use a police dog in their search, but the pastor had already fled. Guardia was charged with burglary and stalking.
It's crazy to me. She got divorced and he was trying to slip in there. He was trying to slide in there. He said, "Oh, you need somebody to console in? You need somebody?" Somebody said in the chat, wolf in sheep's clothing. That's the thing. You know, a lot of these mega church folks, they are great public speakers. They are great public speakers, and hands down to them. They are fantastic public speakers. And you know, they represent, quote unquote, and this is just, you know, my emphasis or my thoughts on this. Some of these mega church folks are great public speakers, and they use the word to kind of project their own stuff into it. Versus if they just became a public speaker and back their public speaking with the word, it would be different, and it wouldn't be as scrutinized. But in this scenario, this dude literally broke into this lady's house, and he was caught for burglary and stalking. This is crazy to me. It's going to be a while until this woman goes back to church, which is sad. Unless she finds a cool, small church where she knows the community. It's sad. Jason says, "Oops, Simply Safe busted him." Yep. Wolves in sheep clothing. Of course, mega money church pastors can be sinful. Yep. Yep. Many churches have been, LJ says, many churches have been infiltrated by Satan. All the ones who advocate for, I'll pop it up here so you guys can see the emojis. This is crazy. Slinging bull crap. Yep. They are not real people of God. Amen to that. Amen to that. It's crazy. It's sad because then it pushes people away from the church and the word. Just my personal opinion on that. You hear all these stories, and then you hear all these other pastors doing all this other bull crap. It's crazy. What was that one pastor about buying the jets and the planes and the Bentleys? He's an older pastor. I think he's out of Texas. Community churches and mega churches are a completely different ball game, especially on the TV evangelists. Yep. Yep. I like there's this show on HBO that I like. New season just came out. It is The Righteous Gemstones. It talks about mega churches. I don't know if you guys seen the Righteous Gemstones, but it has Danny McBride in it, John Goodman. Pretty hilarious. They talk about the mega churches and all these folks, you know, the son's addicted to drugs and they're stealing money and doing all this stuff, and they have all this elaborate stuff, and they're putting up this front on Sunday to all the folks. It's gross. It's nasty to me. All right, let me read through some of these comments here. Let me get some water. LJ writes, it worries me very much that Trump follows Paula White. She's one of the bad ones. And females aren't supposed to be preachers according to the Bible. Jax, Terry, LOL, autocorrect. A guy at church asked me out. When I got in his car, he said he just got out of prison. Oh, what? He just got out of prison for aping a kid at church camp. What? Gosh. That's not cool. Silent in church. I don't go to church anymore. See? Yep. President Trump actually just put a great man of God, Shane Winnings, in the Faith House. Cool. Yeah. Yeah, I would be apprehensive to go to church after that situation, Terry, too. Yeah, that's not cool. Arizona should be easy to catch illegals, just identification laws alone. Yeah. Yeah, that's weird, Terry. Anyways. All right, guys, let me run through these super chats real quick. I want to say quick shout out. Let me get my, let me make sure I acknowledge these folks here. I want to give a huge shout out to Jason. Thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you. Get Baked Tequila and Hate with Snow Brown. And then shout out to Jax for the super chat. Thank you so much. Did you hear Kenneth Copeland got life in prison? I also want to give a huge shout out to all the moderators in the chat. Shout out to moderators in the chat. Thank you guys so much. And then shout out to everybody catching this on the live chat. Because without you guys, the show wouldn't be possible. You guys are freaking awesome. We have some of the best chat on not on Instagram. We're on YouTube. We have some of the best chat on YouTube, hands down. And if you want to connect with these folks offline, you can do that through the Discord group. The Discord group, and the link is in the description down below. Jason says, great video as always, Tyson. I appreciate you. Thank you, Jax. Thank you, Jax, for the super chat. Bringing it in. I think Trump brings some people into the spotlight to expose them. Good point. Shout out to you for that super chat. Dry Heat, thank you so much. Thank you. Shout out to the moderators. Be sure to smash the like button down below on your way out if you kindly would. And if you're catching this on the replay, type in replay in the comment section down below. And also, as a reminder, I'll place timestamps down there as well. Shout out to everybody watching. Drop your comments down below. Smash the like button, and I'll catch you tomorrow, 6 p.m. PST. And until then, I'll catch you on the next one. Thank you guys so much. Truly appreciate you guys.